All right, let's take a question from the Noti Gang, the Notification On Gang from YouTube. The question is the age of fake it till you make it over? Too many ways of doing proper diligence, quality of direct competition prevents overstating. What can't be done in your space? Bearberg on YouTube. Little rambling there, but basically, I guess the question is the age of fake it till you make it over or not? And the way I would frame this is, there's fake it till you make it, and then there's fraud. So let's pause for a second. Fraud is when you lie about the numbers, you lie about reality, and you try to manipulate people to invest in your company, to come work at your company as an employee, to write about your company, whatever it is, but based on actual lies. Now, fake it till you make it means you are going to have confidence that you can change the world, and that you will present yourself as a confident CEO, even if you have $0 in the bank. And you will approach the world that you're going to make an electric car, you're going to create a search engine that's better than the 12 that came before it, you're going to, whatever the ambitious project you're working on, and you're going to approach it, and you'll fake it until you make it. And you will show people designs of like, here's what my, new car is going to look like. And so if we take an example of Nikola, the fake it till you make it would be, hey, here's a prototype. That's fake it till you make it. Here's some designs. Here's what our app will look like. And I called it a prototype. I said, these are what our designs will look like. Here's our MVP, our minimum viable product. So that's what people considered fake it till you make it. And we kind of made it rhymed. So it's, as we've talked about with influence, things, shout out Scott Adams, things that rhyme will make you more, are more influential. And so when we look at influence, fake it till you make it became an influential concept because it was about being a bit delusional and turning delusion into strength and being confident maybe when you didn't have the right to do it. And then if you actually did it, you made it. And so the arc was there. But nowhere in fake it till you make it did anybody ever say lie, deceive, and commit securities fraud. And so that's the first part of sort of what's happening here. And in our industry, I think some people, when the industry gets really hot and people perceive there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of people who are criminals, or are unethical, somewhere between those two, also mentally ill and deranged. So if there are 10, 20% of people suffering from acute, serious mental illness in the world, I've heard varying numbers. Let's just pick a number, 10%. If there's 10% of people are suffering from acute mental illness, and there's also criminals, and then you have a criminal who's mentally insane, or mentally ill, and then they start interacting and their platform is not social media or, fentanyl, methamphetamine, whatever, but their preferred platform is startups. That actually happens, right? That's Elizabeth Holmes. That's my belief on it. I believe she's mentally ill. And then combined with that, a criminal, right? And I think, it's kind of like why some criminals in pop culture are presented as mentally ill as well as criminals. And you don't need to explain more than that. And I think that's why, in the Batman series, you had his butler say, listen, some men just want to see the world burn, like the Joker, right? Like Elizabeth Holmes, in a way, to me, is just like this crazy force, right? Of fraud and delusion. And that's not fake it till you make it. When you're taking the lab test and then you take it out of the Edison machine and then you put it into an Abbott or whatever machine, get the result, and then come back and put it into the Edison machine and you just basically dupe everybody, that's really, really bad. Now, you'll have founders make really aggressive projections. They will have big ambition. And sometimes what happens is a founder will get ahead of their skis and they will have massaged the truth or maybe set an expectation that they can't reach. And then they're so desperate to not lose credibility and go back to their investors or team and say, hey, we didn't make it happen. Sorry. We didn't hit the goals, but here's our plan to hit the goals. And instead of doing that, they manufacture the goals, right? And that's really, really, really short-term thinking. It's literally like smoking crack to get through the last 10 miles in the marathon. Like, maybe I haven't smoked crack, but maybe taking a crack hit would get you another 10 blocks. I don't know. But that's not how this works. It's a marathon. You need to like really buck up. And if you hit the wall and it's not working, you have to just sit down for a second, stretch and say, okay, I got to get my head back in the game. This isn't working. I'm going to get everything back together, train, and I'll try doing the marathon again in 6 months with better nutrition, better techniques, whatever. And so people do get ahead of their skis. I have seen that, but most people are good and most people don't lie and most people will tell the truth and be honest with their investors, and the investors can then help them. And that's really what you want to do as a founder. So if you're a founder right now and you're way ahead of your skis and you're going too fast and you can't handle this speed, slow down. Just start to, do your pizza slice or start to turn up the mountain and slow down and then stop. You ever been skiing and you're going too fast and your legs are feeling weak and you're like, this feels really dangerous? That's the time to stop for a second, take your helmet off, take a breather, have a cup of coffee, maybe do what I do a 50-50. I get a cup of coffee and a half a hot chocolate and I just do a mountain mocha. That's my approach. Just do my mountain mocha, half and half. And sometimes I'm a little ashamed to say I'll get a full coffee, a full hot chocolate, and a third cup. It's kind of wasteful. And I'll just do my little mixology there on the side of the mountain, pro tip. And, you got to pause sometimes and then ask for help and just know you're ahead of your skis. And this is not the slope for you. You're going too fast. In a way, Elizabeth Holmes was going too fast, wasn't she? And you want to be ambitious. You want to go down that double diamond. But maybe you're not ready for a double diamond. Maybe you just should stay on the intermediate and the squares for a little while and do the blue squares. And, then there's always time to speed up later. Nobody wants to see you smash your head into a tree or wipe out some kids skiing down the mountain with their parents. Like, use your head, people. Okay, great question.